Hello and welcome to Let Me Be Your Game Guide, a podcast that spends each episode delving into a mystical new video game, exploring its charms and challenges, and helping you decide if it should be next on your list. I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm Shawn.
Join us for this week's discussion episode as we escape reality and enter the metaphysical. For the remainder of this episode, let me be your game guide.
Still sad.
We are still sitting here staring at imaginary Rylan. They should have put a pillow there or something with like a picture of his face.
Yeah, we really should have.
Yeah. But if you are joining us for the first time and you're confused what we're talking about, there is usually a third person here with us. Rylan is out. He hurt his leg, so he just needed some time to rest and to mend and to heal.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it in our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
My house is not very accessible.
Yeah, there's a lot of stairs. It would be very difficult for someone with an injury like his to get up and down.
Yeah, there's really you'd still have to go up the stairs. No, you'd have to go around the backyard and in through my bedroom. That would be the only non-stairs route to this.
That sounds hard.
Yeah. Well, and you'd have to avoid all the dog poop.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
I haven't raked the leaves, so you cannot see anything. It's all camouflaged in.
Dang.
It's rough.
Booby traps.
Yeah. But that's my bad. And again, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, this is actually a part 2 episode, and you don't have to listen to the part 1. It's the spoiler-free rating episode, and we're talking about
Balatro.
Yeah, Balatro. So this was a listener request, and if you go back to our first episode, if you haven't listened, this is from Brandon. And
Big Dad.
Yeah, Big Dad Live. He's one of our biggest fans.
Yeah.
And we're his biggest fan. No. I'm his biggest. Yes, we are his biggest fan.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's all right. It's okay.
We haven't been recording that long. It should not be this lost. Oh, Lord. But he sent in a fun little recording introducing the game. So if you haven't listened to that already, go back and listen.
Yeah.
But this episode, we're just going to be shooting the shit.
Yeah. We're just going to be talking about strats, talking about how we felt about the game, just general how the game went for us.
Yeah, because I feel like there's just so much to this game, and I can't believe it. After playing my first playthrough, I was like, this can't be as deep as people say it is. And it is.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot more to it than when you first open it up. So
I'm really excited to talk about this. We planned on recording this, what was it, a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, so again, we talked about this last week. There was a snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
The world shut down.
Yeah.
Because our part of Oregon doesn't know how to snow.
No, we don't snow very good. So when the snow comes, it's like apocalypse.
Yeah. So we were trapped away. Gave us a lot more time to play Balatro.
Yeah.
But I've just been itching to talk about it. So I played a new run on my lunch at work today, just because I was like, let's play a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this game is there's so many stats that you can look at.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're just going to start. Do you want to just start by kind of going over our statistics?
Do you want to do plugs and everything?
Oh, shit.
That's all right.
Yeah,
okay.
let's plug. Let's plug the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, real quick before we begin the episode, don't forget to give the podcast a follow, rate it, review it, however you want to show us love. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/letmebeyourgg, where you can view episodes early as we post them sometime on Sunday. This is a couple days before the episode posts everywhere else. And that's for free. I didn't mention that before, but you don't even have to pay. Just be a part of our free Patreon.
Yeah, we love that. So.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. You can find us on most socials as Let Me Be Your GG with no spaces. That's LetMeBeyourGG. No spaces. And we're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can find us on TikTok as Let Me Be Your Game Guide with no spaces. And you can also email us at letmebeyourgg@gmail.com. This is the best way to send in game requests. Just make sure that you put game request in the subject line so it's easy for us to find. And that's what Brandon did for this game.
Yeah, he requested this one, so we played it. And yeah, we're going to talk about it.
So before we really get into this, just as a reminder, or if you didn't listen to our last episode, what did you rate this game out of 5?
I rated it a 4.3 out of 5.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Yep. Mm-hmm. I rated mine at a 4.8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah. Very fun game. You guys should play it.
And now let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah. Let's pull up some stats.
Yeah. Let's pull up some stats. Okay. Yeah. So I played a total of 15 to 20 hours, something like that. I put a decent amount of time in. I will say when I first started, it took me a little bit to kind of get into the swing of things. It probably a couple hours to kind of like figure out like, oh, these are what the planets do. And this is the tarots. This is how you activate the cards and all the things. So it took a little bit, but once you start getting into the swing of it, then the strategy starts really forming of like what you want to do.
Yeah.
Each hand has a different value and you can upgrade that value with planets. Tarot cards are like random upgrades.
Yeah,
essentially
kind of upgrade your cards, or they can kind of do special things where like a couple of them it's like it'll allow you to, it'll turn into the last planet or the last tarot card that you used.
Yeah.
There were also spectral cards.
There was also some spectral cards. I only got into that a little bit. I didn't mess with the spectral cards too much.
Yeah.
I mostly just stuck with planets and tarot cards.
But, did you get any of the legendary jokers?
I did get a legendary joker. Yeah.
Nice.
I did, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's 5 of them, I think?
I think so. Yeah.
I think I got 2. I was kind of annoyed because I've had the chance to actually choose 3 legendary. It's a special card. It's like a special rock.
Yeah, it's like a crystal.
It's like a crystal. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but every time I saw it, I was like, buy.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
It usually was in a deck, actually. But let's see. Show me. Oh, yeah, I only have 2 because I got a duplicate.
No.
Bastard.
I think I only got 1.
Yeah, I got Triboulet.
Oh, let's see which one I got.
Which played kings and queens give a ×2 mult when scored.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then Perkio.
That's the one that I got.
Creates a negative copy of one random consumable card in your possession at the end of the shop. I don't remember what that meant.
I forget negatives, but it does give you like an additional boost. So there's foil card. There's different types of cards too.
There's so much to this game.
Yeah, so there's like foil cards, there's holographic cards, there's stone cards, there's steel cards, there's glass cards, there's a lot of different cards. All of them do different things. Some of them will give you multipliers while they're in your hand. Some of them will give you money if they're used. They all have different stats, so you'll have to look them all up. But that also plays big into your strategy and how you want to play your game.
Yeah, and it took me a while to really realize. So the jokers will give you different types of bonuses, and depending on the strategy you're going with, you want different types of jokers. But I feel like very consistently, and I think this is pretty normal, my strategy was to have at least one joker that gave me coins, or what was the blue?
I think are you talking about the blue chip?
The chips, yeah. So a joker that would give you chips, a joker that would add mult, and then eventually, hopefully, a joker that could multiply your mult. Like it was a ×2 mult, not a +4 mult. That type of stuff. And my most successful run, I had stacked like 3 different times mults. and it was crazy. I was going crazy.
Yeah, I would say that my most successful one, I tend to stick with straights. So when you're trying to create hands for your deck, a lot of times I would try to go for straights, and there was a specific card, I think it was called like Spare Trousers or something like that, where it would give you 15 chips every time you did a straight.
Oh, okay.
And so I got that my second ante in. And so by the time I got to the 8th ante, I probably had 250 plus chips or more.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like, oh man, if I got a straight, I'm gaining, I don't know, 8 to 10,000 points because of all the additional multipliers and stuff. So yeah, there was a lot of different strategies, but I tended to stick with straights or 2 pairs was always my go-to.
I was a pairs person, straights and pairs. But my most successful run, I was doing pairs, 3 of a kinds, and 2 pairs. And I was just like, that's all I was playing. Yeah. I think I had leveled up all of those. I was using planets to level those up.
Yeah.
Did you ever use the shortcut Joker? Because if you were going for straights, it was broken.
Oh yeah,
it's the one that like
that
lets you use gaps in between the numbers. So like 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 could be if there was a gap. When I got that Joker, I was like, this is so OP. Like I can't even describe.
Yeah, it's also helpful when there's a Joker where it allows you to use a straight, but you only have 4 cards instead of 5.
Oh yeah,
and that one comes
too.
really in handy. Yeah.
Yep.
There was another one that I got as well where I think it was along that same run or maybe another one, but every time that you completed either I think it was a 2-pair hand. No, every time you played a card that you would win on, each card would get 5 extra chips and it would stack.
Yeah.
So if you got that early enough, your 2s turn into like 20 somethings and it really adds up quick. So that was great too. But yeah, my strategy was mostly just trying to stick to straights, but I mean, it varies vastly. Beginning of the game is always rough. Yeah. Like getting through that first 2 like rows is like a struggle until you get some jokers and you get some stuff leveled up, and then it's not so bad. But
yeah, with the black deck, we're both trying to beat the black deck, which I know that Rylan, I'm so excited to talk to him about this on a bonus episode, because I know he had said he beat every single deck.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is psycho.
Yeah,
no offense, Rylan. I'm so proud of you. But the issue with the black deck is you start with 1 less hand. So you have a certain amount of discards that you can utilize throughout a run, or not a run, like a blind, during a blind. And then you have a certain amount of hands you can play. And I think when you use the black deck, you only get 3 hands.
Yeah. And there's cards that you can purchase that allow you to get like an additional hand or additional discard. Yeah. Which is really handy for especially the black deck. Yeah. The other decks that you play, at least so far that I've played, you normally get 4 hands, which is really helpful. But with 3, quite limiting. Hard to earn money is what I'm finding. So the most success I just had with the black deck, and I fumbled the ball so hard because I was like rushing. I wasn't paying attention. I knew you were going to be here soon. So I was like, I'm just going to I'm on a roll. I'm just going to keep playing. Yeah. I was on the 8th ante. Like this was it. This was the last ante I needed to beat. And I probably could have, but I did that stupid thing where I had a run. I had my run, or I had a straight. I had my straights at like level 8. Yeah. And then I had the legendary Joker that gave you a ×2 molt for like kings and queens. And then I also had, gosh, what is that Joker? It's he looks really unhinged. He's like on fire. Oh, the one that gives you 30 per face card?
No. So you upgrade the level of the first discarded poker hand each round. Oh. So you can purposefully discard like 2 pair if you know that you're going to win. Like it's super easy. And I got this pretty early. So these were really easy runs for me to beat. Sure. So I just started discarding actual hands, and I would discard it and then it would level up. So I was leveling hands up without even needing to use planets. Awesome. And then I also got the bank card. It was like one of the first jokers I got, which makes it so you can go $20 in debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing about the black deck that I kept forgetting is you get an extra joker.
Yeah, you do
so you
get an
get
extra
6
joker.
instead of 5 jokers. And so getting that bank card early, I was able to just get jokers, kind of plan out a little bit, level up my hand super quick.
Yeah.
And I was on my way. I was on my way to beat the black deck, and then I accidentally discarded a really good hand.
Dang.
It was like, it was a straight with a king and a queen in it, and oh my God.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
You'll have another chance at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, I want to keep playing because I know it'll definitely change my stats, but you can look at like your most if you go into options and then you go into stats, it'll show you like your best hand, and then you can go to card stats and it'll show you your most used joker.
Oh.
So this, I was constantly using the abstract joker, which is a +3 molt for each joker card you have, which if you have all your jokers is just basically a free 15, like +15 molt. But when you're doing the black deck, it's +18.
Oh,
right?
That's huge.
Wait, 3 times 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
18. I've used that one. Oh my God. I've total completed rounds with this card 101.
Oh man.
My God. And then the other one is the blue joker, which is +2 chips for each remaining card in your deck.
Yeah, that one was really nice, particularly early on when you needed to get some chips.
Yeah.
Because when you first start, nothing's upgraded, and so you'll do a 2 pair, but it's only a ×2 multiplier, so you're only getting so much. So that was really helpful. Yeah. Looking at my cards, it looks like my number 1 card is Fortune Teller, which is a +1 molt per tarot card used for the run.
Ooh.
Because I would go through tarot cards quite a bit to upgrade stuff, and you could really get that going pretty quick.
Well, especially if you get the stamps on the cards. There are certain stamps that either when you use them or if you leave them in the hand in your hand without playing it at the end of the round, you'll get like a free tarot card.
Yeah.
If you stacked those, you could start just kind of like getting tarot cards almost every run, every round, every blind. I'm getting all these words mixed up.
Well, definitely. And then there's also a joker too, where if you open a booster pack, you get a tarot card. And so it's like, you could just keep stacking it. So I definitely use that quite a bit. And then the one that I was thinking of was not Spare Trousers. It's called Runner. And that's the gain +15 chips per hand played that contains a straight.
Oh, all right.
And so that adds up real quick. But yeah, a lot of the other ones were just ups for pairs or 2 pairs, straights. Yeah.
That's interesting. You used the jokers. I always avoided those. I was always avoiding the jokers that were like for specific hands.
Oh, sure.
Because I was never playing a specific hand like consistently. So yeah, my tops are the 2 that I said, but then the Mystic Summit joker, you get a +15 molt when 0 discards are remaining.
Oh yeah.
So I discarded all the time, and so when I had that, I was like, even when I didn't need to discard, I would discard all my cards.
Yeah.
But my last run, the one I was just talking about, I actually had a new joker I hadn't used before. This was like the first time I had used like the money strategy. A lot of my earlier runs, I haven't strategized with money at all.
Yeah.
Which I'm realizing is pretty important for especially this deck, this black deck.
This black deck, yeah, it's very important because it's hard to get money in it.
Yeah, there's a joker that allows you to get $2. If you don't discard anything, you get $2 per discard.
Yeah.
So I had 3 discards, and I was getting to a point, I had kind of built my deck in a way that I could, because I had leveled up my hands, like my whatever, like my 2 pair, my straight, my pair, they were so leveled up, I didn't really need to discard at all. And so when I was finally done buying jokers, I was like, okay, I'm going to use this card to get me out of the money pit, get rid of my bank card, And then I just used that. I think I was averaging, like, I was sticking around $30.
That's huge.
And then I was making like between 11 and 15 or $16 a round. So really you could spend a lot of money without going in the hole. And oh gosh, it's going to be a while before I can get over accidentally discarding my straight. Oh, I could have won.
Yeah, shoot.
But yeah, so yeah, a lot of mine were just plus mult related, but not related to hands. The card sharp, I loved this one. It was a ×3 mult if a poker hand had already been played.
Oh, that one's super handy.
And I had stacked that one with, let's see here, what was the other times? I had stacked that one with the baseball card, which gave a ×1.5 mult for each uncommon joker in your hand. And so the card sharp is uncommon. And then I had a couple other uncommon ones. So I was just kind of like multiplying. And that was when I was most successful. I've never had a run like that before. It was like my second run.
Oh, man.
I flew too close to the sun.
Yeah. I found like my strategy definitely changed throughout the run because it really depends on, all these jokers are random. Yeah. So it's really kind of whatever you get to start off with is what you kind of go with for the remainder of that run, or what you're thinking about for that run. But yeah, I did pretty well, but I feel like I still have a lot to learn. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so much. And for consumables, I'm looking at my consumables now, and I leveled up my 2-pair significantly more than any of the planets. Looks like I was doing, which is surprising that Full House is my second one, because I feel like I don't use a lot of full houses.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, I didn't really use that all that often, except for like in the beginning. But yeah, mine was 2-pair Uranus.
Yeah.
And Saturn was straight. So that's what upgraded that. So
yeah,
those were my top two. But yeah, the third one was three of a kind.
What about your tarots?
Create 2 planets randomly was my number one, because that's just handy. 1 in 4 chance to add a foil, holographic, or polychrome addition to your
great.
Random poker. I didn't really work for me a lot, but I always tried it anyways just to see what would happen.
You have to, because when it actually gives one of your jokers like an upgrade, it can really,
it changes the game.
Yeah,
for sure. And did you ever find, like, while you were playing the game and you would get one of those jokers, would you change your strategy if you got like a foil joker that gave you an extra 50 chips per hand?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is probably where I need to be better at the game, because I'm a little stubborn. And I will find a strategy that works. And the thing about this game, like you've said, there's phases. So you have a strategy, and then you get to kind of the middle of the game. You can't keep the same the early strategy that you had. You have to adapt.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at it. I don't want to because I get something, I'm like in the zone. I'm like, this is working.
Yeah.
But then the blind amounts go up substantially, and if you don't pivot, you're not gonna succeed. And it's just so hard for me to change. I don't like change.
Yeah.
So, but yes, if I were to get, a holographic or some sort of upgraded joker, I was just like, well, obviously that one's not leaving my hand ever.
Yeah.
So like, let's figure out how to use this one for as long as possible.
Yeah, I definitely did that too. As soon as those came up, I'm like, oh, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I'll adjust my strategy around that card.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was a good thing, and sometimes it definitely foiled my plans a little bit. So
foiled your plan. Yeah, there were also so many times that I started a game and immediately lost.
Oh, within the first round. Yeah. You try to get that first 300 and you're like, okay. Or you get to the next one, which is 450, and you're like, well, I did the first one, right? And you're like, I barely got through, especially in the black deck.
Yeah.
I would skim by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that, and this is not how I play the game at all, but I've heard that some people will just start their game over until it starts with a good set of jokers that
makes
works for them, which
sense.
totally makes sense. That's just
Yeah.
not how I operate.
Yeah, me either. I just like, I'm gonna deal with what I got. Like,
Yeah,
let's see what happens.
There was a run that I did where I was just trying to get jokers. I was like, there's going to be zero strategy. I just want to see how many different, because I had so many jokers that I had never picked up because it just never worked for the strategy that I wanted to do.
Sure.
But I was like, but I want to discover these. Like, I want to up my joker discovery, so I'm just going to do a chaotic run.
Sure.
No strategy. I'm just going to pick up as many jokers as I can.
Yeah.
I didn't get super far, but I did pick up a good amount of jokers, and I was using... Oh gosh, what is that joker's name? Let me pull it up because he's like the most chaotic. Oh, it's called Madness.
Oh, yeah.
When small blind or big blind is selected, gain times 0.5 molt and destroy a random joker.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
pure chaos.
the molt was going up by a lot, and so in the beginning I had that. And it just so happened that it was when that joker came up, I was like, okay, this is a chaotic run. Like, I'm just going to get jokers. I'm not going to care about my strategy.
Sure.
And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially because my molt was gaining so much.
Yeah.
There would be times where I had just the right jokers in my hand that it was like, I was getting so many points for stupid things.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a fine balance, especially from beginning of the game. Like, what do you need in the beginning of the game? You need at least a joker or two to get by.
Yeah.
You got to start leveling up your decks. And then, farther and farther along, depending on how much money you have, you can go a little hog wild and just really ramp things up and really upgrade your deck and do a lot of things, or survive. One of the two.
How many jokers did you discover?
I discovered 81 jokers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 96 out of 150.
Yeah, there's still so many more.
So many.
So many more.
But something I really like about this game, at the main menu, it always has a little locked card, and you can hover over it, and it'll give you buy a total of 20 playing cards from the shop. So that will unlock whatever joker is here. So you can kind of, before starting a run, you can see if there's something that you want to go for to just unlock a joker, which I thought is cool. I mean, it's just one joker, but one at a time, it kind of hints at the strategy you need to do.
Yeah.
Because there was one I think I hovered over, and it was like, it was something like get 3,000 coins or something. Like, it was even more than that. Like, just get a bunch of coins.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not happening for a while.
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I loved this game. I can't believe it was made by one person.
I know. And it's just taken off, and it's so much fun. Like, it at least for me, being on mobile, it's like, pick it up, play a hand or two. Oh, I did well. Oh, I didn't do well. Great. I'll play again later, and then put it away, play again another time. But yeah, a lot of fun. Just a great strategy game, great deck building game. Yeah, I felt that comfort that he was describing. You mentioned it in the last episode, but that comfort of just like, oh, it's like solitaire, and you just kind of hang out and play, and yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's low stakes, and I also liked that this was something I could play but also be a part of a conversation. Like, Hayden and I were sitting on the couch. When I was playing Animal Well, he'd try to talk to me, and I couldn't even respond.
Yeah.
He's
so
like,
locked in.
hello. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm being chased by a ghost cat right now. My hands are sweaty, and I'm scared.
Yeah.
But with this, I mean, you could just play.
Yeah.
I could carry on a conversation. I could watch a TV show.
You could put it down at any point, and it's okay. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, there was really no urgency. It was just comfort. It's just nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really fun game. I'll continue to play it for a while longer, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna uninstall this game, if ever. I can imagine eventually Animal Well will get uninstalled, just because I'll reach a point where I don't have much to find. Doesn't mean I won't reinstall it and play it later.
Sure.
But this game is just, even when you get all of the achievements, there's no reason to stop playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, I know at least for some of my runs and stuff, after you've completed the 8 antes, then they give you endless run mode where you just go. You just go as far as you can. So
I have done that for every single run. Every time I've beat an Annie, I'm like, well, let's just see how far I can get.
Yeah, I did that too. And gosh, I'm so disappointed. There's definitely a few times where I'm like, yeah, I did it. Okay, great. I'm going to do this. That next hand, dead. It's like, well, I tried.
Yeah, I think, let's see. Let's look at my best. Let's take a look. If you go to options and then stats, you can look at your best hand. What was your best hand?
My best hand was 105,350.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Mine is 208,440.
Gosh, I didn't even play this, man.
Well, and that was from my second run, having those like times something, the multiplying mults. It was just the perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
I've never come close. I think I got about what you said. That's as high as I've gotten since.
Man,
yeah,
I gotta change my strategy around.
I don't know. Yeah, just multiplying molts on multiplying molts.
Yeah,
that was the one thing. My progress is at 18%.
Let's see, 16.
I have so far to go. My highest round was 28.
29 for me.
Nice. Highest ante was 10.
9.
My most played hand is 2 pair.
Same.
Really?
Yeah.
I've played it 289 times.
808 times.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The most money I've had is $68.
$78.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But yeah, there's just, oh my gosh.
There's so much still to discover and new strategies to find out, and I'm excited to keep playing and get past this black deck.
Yes, the black deck.
Oh goodness.
What about tags?
Tags.
Yeah, tags. I only have 1 out of 24 tags and I don't really understand how to get them. Use this tag in an unseeded run to learn what it does.
Oh, I have one too. I think a tag allows you to skip a blind. And so that one you got from a joker. You had to buy that joker and then sell it and you would get a tag.
I just realized, so I have only skipped 1 blind. And that is definitely where this tag came from.
Yeah, I used that joker once, but I was like, oh, I don't really know what this is. And then afterwards, when I've been playing a little bit more, I'm like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. Did you utilize skipping blinds very much?
I never skipped a blind.
Never. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I skipped a blind the run before the last one that I just did, just to see. I skipped it way too early.
Oh, sure.
It was like the second round. I was like, screw it, I don't need this. Second blind. It was stupid. But I can imagine once you get higher up and the like bonus you get from skipping the blind is better than actually just playing. I need to experiment with that a little bit more. There's a lot of different strategies. Oh, one other strategy. Did you ever try to go like all black cards or all red cards?
No, I never went to like doing a lot of flushes and that kind of thing. I accidentally got a royal flush one time. I didn't even realize I got it until I played it. And then I'm like, oh, look at that. So I was doing a straight and then I didn't even realize, but they were all the same cards. So
yeah, I think that if I were to ever to be super successful, there have been a couple runs and I wanted so badly for them to go right and they just didn't. But you can get spectral cards that will turn like all cards into like a random suit.
Yeah.
And then there are certain jokers that it's like if you play every diamond you play, it's a +3 molt or every.
Yeah.
So I had stacked like a couple of those for a red or black deck. Like I would do that specifically, especially if an early big blind or an early, whatever the final blind is, was like all spades are debuffed.
Oh,
because
sure.
sometimes it would be like that and you just couldn't play spades. And if you had already built your entire deck to be spades,
Yeah.
spades and clubs, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's why I never really went that route. But there is a Joker too that is like spades and clubs are the same and hearts and diamonds are the same. So
Yeah.
you maybe could have gotten away with it if you had that Joker, but
Yeah. So I still really want to go that route. I really want to try. I had used like a lot of tarot cards. I can't remember which one it is. Whatever tarot card lets you choose two, and you can turn the left one into the right one.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would take a lot of cards and like turn them into a certain number that's diamonds, but I was really trying to turn like my entire deck into just red cards or just diamonds or just black cards or just clubs.
Sure.
But I would always stall out eventually. I just didn't have the right jokers.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I gotta look up some more strategies. There's so many ways that you can play a deck or have a strategy that's successful. So yeah,
pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we close out of here?
No, it was a lot of fun. I'm still gonna continue to play it. It was a blast.
Yeah, it was super fun, and honestly, we have to have a bonus episode where Rylan talks about this, whether he records it on his own or not.
Yeah.
I know that Rylan has, was it his, who was he talking to? A friend of his.
Yeah.
I think he said has completed the game, like gotten all of the achievements. He's done everything. And so he had done a little bit of an interview, asked some questions, and I think that would just be a really good bonus episode to spend just listening to him talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So look out for that. That'll be probably in the next few weeks. Maybe he'll record it on his own and we'll get it uploaded so you guys can listen to it just as a little bonus, because he's cooped up at home with a hurt leg.
Yeah.
He probably wants to talk about it. So
yeah, I know that he was pretty bummed he missed this one. So
yeah. So we'll make sure to get his opinions out there and some maybe some things that we don't even know about because we haven't played that much.
I'm a dummy. I'm sure there's so much.
Cool. Well, this concludes the discussion episode for Balatro. Please join us next week for our spoiler-free review of Two Falls.
Two Falls.
I didn't even talk about this, but we're playing Two Falls next.
Yeah, we are.
This was my pick. It's more of a story-driven game. It's very much my genre. Think like Firewatch type game.
We hadn't done one of those in a little bit though, so it was
good.
good.
Yeah, I know that it's definitely not you or Rylan's favorite type of game to play, and they can be kind of slow. Or like it's a different experience, so I try to space them out. But I was really excited about this one. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys next week. Rylan will still be out, but he should be back in action, back with us after Two Falls.
Yeah.
So please go and give the podcast 5 stars. If you liked what you heard, you can review us, you can rate us. You can email us with comments, questions, or constructive criticism at letmebeyourgg@gmail.com. You can also send us any game requests if there's something you'd like us to review. Just make sure you put game request in the subject line so it's easy for us to find. You can find us on most socials as Let Me Be Your GG with no spaces. That's LetMeBeyourGG, no spaces. And our TikTok is Let Me Be Your Game Guide with no spaces. Our Patreon can be found at patreon.com/letmebeyourgg. Thank you so much for listening. We can't wait to see you next week. And thank you so much for letting me be your game guide. GG, y'all.
Bye.
Jesus. Trooper.
He's fired up.